hello, and welcome to the stream. July 18th, 2025. You know, the title says July 25. People were like, oh, he's not going to stream for a week. July 2025. That's what the title. The title's about July of 25. I'm talking about the month. It's the month. Obviously, I'm not. Who would say that? What's up, Biomagna? What's up, the Zax? What's up, Will the Willow? What's up, Mallow as in Marsh? July of 1925. That was a good year. That was a good month and a good year. 1925, roaring 20s. People were good. There were flappers. Yo. Couldn't just add a 20? Actually, I couldn't run out of characters. If I'm being for real, Slam Jam. That's your first time chat message. You're going to question me on the number of characters. Not a good way to introduce yourself, Slam Jam. Hi from Germany, first stream. Welcome. Sanita Ravel. You're from Germany? Love that. Do you have any particular thoughts on nuclear energy? Get us started. Mike Raff, thank you 34 for 7 months. Have you ever said Atrioc in a Gucci voice? I don't really know what you're asking for. KB Jr. living the 46 months. KB Jr., I appreciate that. Did you hear about Trump versus Jerome Powell? Wow, what a great kickoff. I hadn't heard about any of those things. First time commenting, it's my birthday. What an embarrassing thing to comment. Happy birthday. Welcome to the stream. First time chatter, happy birthday. Hey, everybody, this person went out on a limb. They dropped their first message and they wanted a birthday wish. Is that too much to ask? Howdy from Virginia. Hello. I lived in Virginia for a few years. Didn't really love it. I'll be honest with you. Didn't really love it. Why don't you have a private jet yet? Or are you just environmentally conscious? Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I just feel like Taylor Swift is causing so much damage to the environment, and I'd like to do my part to fly coach. I'm a green king. Wait, let me turn the air on. It's fucking hot in here. H-Rock, will you be picking Lena Khan for your upcoming administration? Listen, I'm not 100% confident I'm going to win the presidency. I'll be honest with you. I know you guys all think, oh, guaranteed, H-Rock's going to win the presidency. He's going to run. He's going to sweep 50 out of 50 states, easily win. If I don't win, then we got to figure out what to do. But if I do win, for sure, I will appoint Lena Khan. 100%. 100% she's got the job. Paul Kisley with the Prime. You'll defo win, don't worry. I mean, it's me versus Vance, right? I just got to make a lot of couch fucking jokes. What a horrendous campaign. I'm just constantly beating that dead horse into the ground. Is Aiden not going to be nominated? First of all, Aiden can't run. He's not American. He's Swedish. In spirit. We can't have him as president. He'll sell all our land to the Swedes. There's no way we can have him go. Intraptana, thank you for the 4 months. I just finished teaching a girls' welding camp. How can I use their free labor to become an American business mogul by bringing manufacturing back? You taught a girls' welding camp, which seems like a cool thing to do, and you want to use that for child labor so you could become a mogul spelled wrong by bringing manufacturing back. I feel like you're on the right track. Listen, all you got to do is find something for them to weld and then pay them less. I mean, you know, if you can find a way to pay women less for the same welding job, then you've got yourself a real arbitrage opportunity. You've got yourself some real money. Children yearn for the welding, TBH. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that Gen Z wants to weld. And by that, I mean, like, they want to do more trade jobs. They are looking, I don't know why. I don't know why they look at this, computer science? I don't know why they look at a computer science jobs opportunities that has dropped to 1980 levels. Employment for computer programmers has plummeted to the lowest level since 1980, years before the internet even existed. We're at pre-internet levels of computer programming. I don't know how they look at that and then go, yeah, maybe I want to weld. No nerd shit. It's just you don't think it has anything to do with money or like trends. You think it's just that they don't want to be nerdy. They just want to weld because it's Chad. Interesting. That's. I honestly think the opposite's going to happen. This is my hot take. As more and more Zoomers go into blue-collar jobs will become nerdy. Because it's going to be filled with a bunch of Discord-addicted... just because you can weld doesn't make you a Chad. It's going to be, Magic the Gathering welders. I'm a nerdy tradesman. Yeah, they exist, and there's going to be a lot of them. D&D plumber. This, but unironically, your plumber's going to show up in a robe and wizard hat. And he's going to have a podcast. He's going to be listening to fucking Dimension 20 on his AirPods while he fixes your fucking toilet. This is a real thing. That sounds kind of hot. I'm not describing the intro to a porno. Please calm down. There's nothing hot about it. I'm just describing a wizard plumber. One of the campers welded a picture frame for an anime character they painted. It was kind of dope. That is low-key kind of dope. We got a ton to talk about today. I want to cover Trump v. Jerome Powell, which is becoming a really important showdown that's been a brewing. And then on the little trick he tried to pull, I want to cover the fact that despite his best efforts for the first time in his life, Trump can't get everybody to move on from something, which is the Epstein stuff. I got to recap everything that happened with Lena Khan, including showing the gift. Not really the gift, but the item I got from her. And then I want to talk about Crypto Genius Act and all the insanity. I think there's a lot there that people aren't talking about. And then anything else from this past month. Lithe Vortex. Thank you for the 10 gifted. My fucking God. You have a message? Your message was yep. Yep Coke, maybe? Thank you for the 10 gifted. I will use that, not for cocaine, obviously, because I don't do that. But I will use that in the spirit that you provided it in. Can you do a Malay Argentina review? Actually, people hate when I say this on the stream, but I'm thinking of doing that on the pod. I'm thinking of doing an update, 1 year later on Malay Argentina and what's going on. Because there's some good and there's some bad. And it's interesting and it's worth knowing. But I think I'm going to do it on the podcast, given that I'm already doing this stuff on the main. So I should just go fuck myself then. No! That was not what I was saying. I'm not saying go fuck yourself. I'm saying, hey, I'm doing different topics on different places, and one of them is the podcast. And if you're interested, perhaps you can hear that there. I'm not saying fuck yourself. Okay? That's not what I said. And I think it's a misattribution. I think you're putting words in my mouth. Last YouTube video 3 weeks ago? No, buddy. Last YouTube video was yesterday. The day before that. Because we upload every single day on Big A. Okay. So you hate waffles then? You're quoting we? You're quoting we. Dude, fuck off. Actually, go fuck yourself. Everything on the channel is me talking. Oh yeah, good job, H-Rock. You just did the content. You just did the research and the production and the... But Adish cut it and hit upload, so... No, it's not a 50-50 split, by the way. It's fucking 60-40. That guy speaks too much French? Who are we talking about? Bro thinks he's on the team. That's great. That's like saying... It's like saying that to someone who is on the team. That's like talking to LeBron and the Lakers and being like, bro thinks he's on the team, dude. Bro thinks he's on the fucking Lakers. It's like, well, he's paid by them and he works for them and he... You're not LeBron, you're Bronny. First of all, that's a compliment now. Sorry if you don't follow basketball, but calling someone Bronny James is no longer an insult. It's now a compliment because he's been fucking electric in the Summer League. He's been fucking electric. Bronny's been popping off. He's putting up 17-point game. No, it's like 14, then 15, then 17. He's hustling. He plays defense. No, it's fucking... Bronny James is... I think it's not crazy to say he's a future 10-time champion, Hall of Famer, all MVP, all defense, NBA all defense. Just I think that's not too early or over projecting. I think based on what I'm seeing in the Summer League, that's like a guaranteed. Who cares about that? Play the horse. I'm not going to play a horse girl game. Okay? I don't know how to say this nicely. I don't even know how to say it meanly because either way, you don't understand me. I'm not going to play the horse girl game. It's already over. The horse girl game wave is already over, and it is a dirty, nasty, low down gotcha game. It's not like it's like ironically a gotcha game. It just is a gotcha game. And I don't like gotcha games. I, in fact, made a whole stream about how gotcha games are like designed to rot your brain and suck away your money. Okay? I actually don't like gotcha games. Now, I am going to do a 48-hour Genshin Impact sponsor, but that's different. Okay? That's different because the waifus in Genshin are much more ethically... And also, they pay me, so the money's going to a good cause. That would pay off your mortgage. Unironically, a Genshin Impact sponsor is by far the highest paying. There's like the two biggest paychecks you can get right now are either Genshin Impact or to cast the Saudi World Cup esports thing. Bro, I know Cagel got paid. No shade, but I know Cagel got paid an unreal, disgusting, ooga booga amount of money for that. Steak? Steak will pay you big bucks, but you have to go to Kick, right? Not really. The same thing. What about CS betting companies? I guess that's big money too. You're right. Yeah, gambling stuff's all big cash. Big cash. Guys, I found this really cool site, csgolotto.com. I don't know if you... It's like I got nothing to do with it, but it just looks really cool, and I was spinning on it, and I couldn't stop winning. So I guess maybe check it out. Maybe that's something. McDonald's big advertising. I'm sure McDonald's paid a fuck ton for that Kai Cenat thing, but they're not normally a Twitch. It's not something you can get. Are you saying that Genshin isn't a gambling sponsor? Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why Genshin pays so much, is because they're a gambling sponsor. Because that stuff hooks you legitimately on the core base root of your brain. And then all of a sudden you're chasing waifus you didn't know you wanted. Nah, gambling is crazy. Okay, but John Cena, but Phantom taxed. You can't pay for that kind of promo. It's priceless. You can pay for it, and they did. Do you think John Cena showed up out of the goodness of his heart and chilled the McDonald's chicken sandwich? They paid for it. That's it wasn't just a dude. I swear to God, I'm gonna go out there, and if Ari turned the heat back on, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. It's hot in here still, and it's. Okay, she actually didn't. She actually didn't. It's just not cooling fast enough. It's not cooling fast enough, bro. YTA. Don't say, it's not like I went out there and yelled at her. I didn't say, I just checked the thermometer. You can't say YTA. Am I the asshole for checking the thermometer? It's not an asshole move to check. It's not a thought crime. We don't live in Minority Report. You can't, it's not any aggression. It's trust but verify, which is fine. Big A never reads these, so I'm just going to say I'm jorking it right now. Straight jorking it for real, man. Everyone at Peng Egg and say gross. Don't share that. Peng Egg. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. That's a 10-minute timeout. Gross. Yikes. Okay. Sorry, I can't speak. I fucking had a stroke there for a second. Kino, thank you for the 3 months. Stubert, thank you for the 22 months. Namaste. Chunky Milk 2332, thank you for the prime. Paranormy, that's a good username. Thanks for the 28. Par Chicken 69, thank you for the 17 months. It's a terrible username. Cope Land Aiden, thank you for the prime. Kuai Moon, thank you for the 4 months. Patusius, thank you for the 22. The namaste was like Trump saying Mr. Toyota. I mean, he called the current prime minister of Japan Mr. Japan in a negotiation. It's like, whatever you say is a joke, reality is funnier. That's, you know how wild that is? That's fucking wild. Just it's like he's not a Pokemon. The idea that the presidents of countries are named after their country. That's my president, bro. Punch, how are you doing? Punch, you've been addicted to these Nate Shot case opening streams or what? My God, content's finally good again on this platform. Finally, dude. You know, if you get escape velocity, right? So how much does it cost, do you think, to open, you know, to constantly be opening cases? What do you think that costs? Like 10K? No, I guess how much per hour, you know, like if you're constantly opening a case, how much is your account draining? Train spinning 100K as we speak. $5 every 10 seconds. I wonder if ChatGPT knows this. Is this math it could do? Or Gemini? Let's see. How much would it cost to open a CSGO case nonstop? Cost per hour. Between 5K, 10K an hour. Okay. So here's what I'm trying to say. Let's say it's 10K an hour to constantly open CSGO cases. If for whatever reason you achieve escape velocity and you are making over 10K an hour from live streaming your case opening, then you've created an infinite money machine, dude. You've created an infinite money machine where you're getting paid to open the cases, and you get to keep all the profits from the cases, which will not usually be as much as you're losing, but it offsets the cost. That's just a job? Not really. Just to be clear, not really. There's no other job like that in the world where you sit there and pull the slot machine over and over and get paid to do it. That's not just a normal job. That's not like, oh yeah, it's like clocking in at the bank. It's completely different. Professional poker player? In a way, but you don't have to win. Do you understand? It's because of the stream and the donations. As long as the donos and the ad revenue and the subs flowing in, you could just never stop. You can constantly. Yeah, I guess like a professional slots player, but that doesn't really exist. Like before streaming, nobody would pay to sit there and watch you play slots. But now that exists. Why doesn't the U.S. do this to pay off the deficit? We'll talk about the Genius Act later. It's not so crazily dissimilar. That's why it's the hardest job in the world? I guess true. The U.S. should just keep doubling down until it breaks even. It's like, we've heard this joke a lot of times. I just want you guys to fully understand that there is no casino that can pay out a $32 trillion bet. So even if we were wanted to risk it, we couldn't put all the money on red and double it up. Do you understand? That's the biggest problem, is that there is the casinos are broke. What about on black? That's such a fucking Patrick Star-ass question. That's what Japan is doing? Not quite. Hey, Shrek, I know you're talking about how gambling is bad, but can you play 6 hours of the Pretty Horse Girl gambling game? I can't answer this anymore. I'm not going to play the Horse Girl gambling game. Actually, you know what? To just throw everybody off, I will play the Horse Girl gambling game for sure on January 30th, 2045. I will play it for sure. January 30th, 2045. Clip it, guaranteed. So anytime you want me to play it, refer to the clip. 2045, January 30th. Horse Girl Day. Ooh, you're going to regret that? I won't. The world will be nuclear waste by then. The world will be fucking dead. I got no worries. We're going to be in the bunker. We're going to be in the bunker. The sky will be ash, raining ash, dark sky. And one of you's going to walk through the fucking no man's land, crawling through the soot. And you're going to hand me a fucking iPad and tell me to play the game and then sit there and watch me. Now we're gonna be in the same bunker. True, because we're gonna build one. Guys, this is a serious plan. Before I get into the news, which I'm about to do, before I get into the news, I do have a serious plan in the event of nuclear war, and it's the reason I've been building this stream and building this community and building this YouTube. Okay. This is the serious fucking plan. In the event of an emergency, like a nuclear attack upon the United States or any major country, any NATO country, I'm going to call Code Blue. Okay? Code Blue. When I say Code Blue, we all, no matter where you are in the world, go to New Zealand, where we're going to kill Gabe Newell and steal his bunker. We're going to do it fast and we're going to do it furious before he can get entrenched. We are going to kill Gabe Newell and we are going to steal his bunker. And we are going to live in his New Zealand fallout shelter and play Counter-Strike Go Um, I mean, I guess we could secure Gabe Newell, but I'm just worried that he will try to undermine our authority. What was the word again? I'm not going to say it now because now the word's out there, but why make two baddies fight? Who are the two baddies in this case? He'll like, you know that if Gabe Newell's tied up and we got him like locked in the room, he'll be like, guys, I got a new Steam Deck. I'll release Half-Life 3 if you let me go. And then one of you fucks is going to crack. You're going to let him go, and then he's going to hit his fucking button, and then the drones are going to come out and kill us all. Okay? You can't, no matter what he says, you got to get that poison out of your ear. Gamers cannot boycott. Exactly. Exactly, dude. Gamers can't boycott. He'll know the right words to get you on his side. That's why we have to kill him. We have to fucking kill him. I'm sorry. I don't get what's happening here. Hey, don't worry about it. You're just going to have a really bad time come the apocalypse. Because you are not going to know what to do. And a lot of people in this chat will know what to do. And you're going to be lost. You're going to be confused. Oh, I didn't understand it. That's fine. Sucks to be you, bro. Bro's planless going into the apocalypse. We'll miss you. Already booking the plane ticket? Well, don't book it yet. It's too early. If you do it too early, it's just murder of a billionaire. They'll get you for that. They got my man Luigi, bro. They'll get you for that. Actually, I don't even think the UHC CEO was a billionaire. They hunted that man down and that died. What was his name? Brian Thompson net worth. Bro wasn't even worth $100 million. I'm surprised they didn't just cut him loose. Bro's poor. Bro's practically working class. Luigi Mangione killed a member of the working class and he's a hero to some of you? That's crazy. That dude's fucking blue collar. He had $42 million. That's it. $42 million? That's crazy. He's a broke boy. Bro literally couldn't afford to fuel up Bezos' yacht. That's actually crazy. Holy shit. That's crazy. Why is the EBITDA hat off center? Damn, I can't believe you noticed that. This is one of the test ones. This is one of the prints, I think. Early prints. It's just in my... Brian is closer to me in net worth than he is to Elon Musk. That's actually true. But like that's true for even some crazy people. Like that's probably true for like that's probably true for like some insanely rich people. Like, just because of the gap between Elon and the rest. Yeah, I actually think it's quite possible. No, Jeff Bezos just barely, but Warren Buffett. I am closer to Warren Buffett than Warren Buffett is to Elon Musk. That's fucking crazy. Everyone in this chat is closer to Warren Buffett's $142 billion net worth than Warren Buffett is to Elon Musk. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy because Warren Buffett is the 10th richest man in the world. That cannot be true. It is. It is 100% true. There's about a $300 billion gap between Elon Musk and Warren Buffett and a $142 billion gap between someone with zero net worth and Warren Buffett. That's crazy. That's actually, that's a stat that I will keep in my back of my head. That's crazy. I didn't know Buffett was broke like that. He's the 10th richest man that's ever lived. That's why he eats McDonald's like us working poor. That's why. That's why. That is why Warren Buffett is driving a cheap car and always eats McDonald's and lives in Omaha. It's because he can't afford it. He can't afford rent in a major city. He's working poor, dude. Broke ass. Fucking broke. All right, let's talk about a couple things today. First one, I want to talk about Trump versus Jerome Powell. Okay, high level stuff just to get you caught up. I think this is like an important story that's getting kind of under discussed. Yeah, we all know our man Jerome, huh? Sometimes called too late Jerome Powell by Trump. Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve. Okay. Let me get my paint. And let's clear this bad bee. Okay. Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, is in a bit of a war with Donald Trump, which is surprising because Donald Trump appointed him back in 2017. But right now, Donald Trump wants one thing. He wants interest rates to come down, okay? Which will juice the economy, which will get people to borrow and spend more. Think about it very simply. If you have a credit card that has a 30% interest rate, you're probably going to use it less than if it had like a 2% interest rate, okay? The amount it costs you to borrow money is a good determiner in how much you're going to use it. Very simple. So Jerome Powell can set interest rates, and he's been keeping them flat at around 4.5%. And the reason is because if you lower them, it could cause inflation. And if you raise them, it could cause a recession. So he's been holding it flat and trying to wait and see the impact of things like the tariffs and the possibly slowing economy and the possibly rising unemployment. He's just trying to wait and see, okay? But Trump is freaking out and would like the interest rates to be lowered. Now, you all kind of know this as a high level, but Trump's been hinting at it and making nicknames for Powell, calling him too late Powell, calling him stupid, calling him slow. We all know all this. But recently, Trump had an idea, a bit of a silly little goofy idea. I think he was meeting with some fellow Republican operatives, and he said, okay, you guys keep telling me I can't fire Jerome Powell because it'll cause problems with the markets, okay? I don't believe you. I'm Donald Trump. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to leak that I'm going to fire Jerome Powell, and then I'll see if you guys were right about your stupid suggestion. This is exactly what happened, by the way. So Trump goes to this meeting. He leaves the meeting, and then a bunch of Republicans start basically leaking, like really openly, obviously with the sanctioning of someone higher up, because otherwise they wouldn't do this. Jerome Powell is going to be fired. Firing is imminent. A couple other people said, like, I was at a meeting. It's being discussed that Jerome's going to get fired. It was leaked to all the major papers. There's this big thing. Jerome Powell's about to get fired. Now, again, Jerome Powell has said time and time again, the president cannot fire me. I cannot be fired. It's not legal for him to fire me. I'm not going anywhere. But Trump has never let that rule stop him. So Trump is pretty much getting ready to fire him. Okay? Instantly. Look at this tick at 10 a.m. The second this is leaked, the United States' borrowing costs spike astronomically. This is our ability to borrow money from other countries, okay? This is the interest that we have to pay. Our borrowing costs spike instantly because if you are in a country that is firing your supposedly independent chairman of the Federal Reserve so you can force interest rates down, it is a bad sign for your currency, for your economy, for the independence of your central bank, and for your reliability of your debt. Okay? So borrowing costs spike instantly. The market gets shaky instantly. Trump, recognizing, okay, maybe you guys were right, immediately pulls back. It was funny. Wait. All the Wall Street bets guys said, we will make January 6th look like a picnic if this happens. After the leaks. Everyone started freaking out that Jerome Powell was going to get fired. We'll make Jerome... I'm not fucking leaving.
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
Okay, so he's gonna get firepower. The markets were unsteady and the bond market went fucking crazy. The cost of borrowing for the United States was spiking and getting worse. So Trump immediately comes out and says, let's see if I got the link here. Well, first, everyone's following up on this story. So they go and they ask Mike Johnson, is this going to happen?
Can the president fire Jerome Powell?
Can the president fire Jerome Powell? I'm really not sure. I have been...
What a spineless fucking coward. The answer is no. He knows it's no. The entire point of the central bank is that it's independent. If the president can at will fire and replace him, then it's not independent. It's completely controlled. Everyone knows the answer to that in government. He knows the answer to that. He's being a spineless fucking coward. Anyway, clearly there's a play to try to make it happen. But they're not worried about the law stopping them. They're only worried about the borrowing costs of the United States, which then got so bad that President Trump had to come out and, let me see if I have the clip, and say he's not going to do it.
Plans, or if you're back considering Jerome Powell, do you have plans, or if you're back considering firing Jerome Powell? And what's your justification if you're thinking about this to do this?
Too late. He's always been too late. Hence his nickname, Too Late.
You gave him that nickname. It's not like his reputation precedes him, and that's why he's always been called Too Late. You gave him that nickname.
He should have cut interest rates a long time ago. He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed.
You were surprised he's appointed. That's a really interesting... That is such an interesting thing to say. I wonder if we could take a little trip back to 2017. Just a tiny trip back.
As president, there are a few decisions more important than nominating leaders of integrity and good judgment to hold trusted positions in public office. And few of those trusted positions are more important than the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Accordingly, it is my pleasure and my honor to announce my nomination of Jerome Powell to be the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. Congratulations.
It's so interesting. It's just so interesting. Because now he's a stupid idiot who never should have been appointed. He's Too Late Powell. So anyway, the rest of that sentence is Trump saying he's not going to fire him.
No, we're not planning on doing anything. We're very concerned. He's got a very easy job to do. You know what he has to do? Lower interest rates.
Have you drafted a letter?
I haven't drafted a letter.
So you didn't show a letter to Republican lawmakers last night?
No, I talked about the concept of fire him. I said, what do you think? Almost every one of them said I should.
So anyway, he backed off. We're not going to fire him. And immediately, when this JK happens, everything bounces back. Okay? Everything bounces back. Stock market bounces back. The bond yields start to drop. Look, you can see it right here. Bond yields drop back down to where they were. It instantly goes back. However, as with many things with Trump, whether it's tariff or anything else, him backing off in the short term does not mean that he's backed off in the long term. Trump is still very much trying to get rid of Jerome Powell. He's just going about it a different direction. Now, he's realized that if he tries to break the law, essentially, and fire him, there's going to be such a legal battle, it'll be a problem. But if he fires him for cause, it's allowed. And he thinks maybe he can get through it that way. Now, he needs a cause. Jerome Powell hasn't broken any laws. There's no real reason to fire. You can't just fire him because of your own whims. This is what he's figured out. This is the plan they've been going. Let's see if I have the article here. The plan they've been going is this one. They keep saying, they've started this whole narrative that Jerome Powell is spending way too much money to renovate their headquarters. They basically are saying that they're spending way too much money on renovation. Now, again, this is a multi-year long massive renovation that involves moving two buildings that has been approved for years now and has been slowly moving the process. But now Trump is saying things like, wow, listen, I always knew he was stupid, but I didn't know he needed a palace. And they're basically accusing them of fraud in the way that they're building the central bank's new buildings. Trump aims to use the building project to either force Powell to resign or justify his removal in court. So that's it. On Wednesday, Trump said it was highly unlikely he would get rid of Powell unless he has to leave for fraud. Like, dude, one thing is so obvious after 6 months of Trump is that the plans are always so transparent. Whether it's the Epstein stuff, whether it's this, you actually can figure out what he wants and what he's doing so easily. It's very easy to read. And so this is the plan. They are sharpening the attack around cost overruns and marble construction. The fact that he used marble and not glass is going to be the reason to get rid of the Fed chair. This is what they're trying to go for. I don't know if this will hold, but I think they're doing it as for public opinion and not the court of law. Because it just seems very unlikely they're going to get a court to agree this is a reason to remove the Fed chair. Now, here's the deal. Who does he want to replace Jerome Powell with? That's an easy answer. This guy, Kevin Hassett. You know he's a great economic advisor because he worked on the 2004 campaign of George Bush. That's where he got his start in economic advising, which of course is one of the greatest economies of all time. Kevin Hassett is who they're trying to get to replace Jerome Powell's Fed chair so that he can cram down interest rates and hopefully get us back to a bubbly 2021 NFT style economy with the accompanying inflation to match. Now, the problem for all of us, even if we are fully committed, and I think, by the way, Jerome Powell, for his many flaws, Jerome Powell was too late to recognize inflation initially. Jerome Powell once said, I don't see any systemic risk in Silicon Valley Bank, and then later said, we have to bail out Silicon Valley Bank because of the systemic risk. Like, there's a lot of things I like about Jerome Powell, but there's many things I don't. Jerome Powell has been incredible in an extremely, extremely difficult job at not crumbling under the pressure from many different sides to do something other than what I think the data demands. I think he's been very good at it. And I will say that I don't think he has used it to enrich himself. I think he has done his job. So I overall am positive on Jerome Powell, even if I don't think he was, as legendary as some say. And so, he does give the United States some credibility and some air of safety with regards to our debt for the rest of the world. And when he is gone, replaced by a toady, it's going to be a problem. Even if Trump can't fire him or can't figure this out, his term is up in early 26. So we're like a year away from Jerome Powell being gone no matter what. And that's when things get a lot crazier. It's going to be really bad if he gets forced out early, but it's bad either way in 1 year. So that's kind of the update on the Jerome Powell situation and what's going on. I do think he'll be able to stick around. I don't think he's going to get forced out early. The idea, again, of him getting forced out because of this building cost overrun is, I think, absurd. Again, there's not much judicial precedent on this at all. There aren't many cases you can really look at to see exactly what the parameters are for that. Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't think it. Can you somehow bet on the U.S. economy crack? You're trying to do a Big Short? Hey, the first Chubasa, thank you for the Prime. It was just reported Representative Luna has criminally referred Jerome Powell for fraud to the DOJ. Is that true? Luna Powell fraud. Oh, wow. 4 hours ago. I am criminally referring Jerome Powell to the DOJ to investigate perjury regarding his crazy $2.5 billion building. This is the same woman that did the quote-unquote leak that he was getting fired to test it out. Okay? There is clearly a plan here to do whatever they can to force Jerome Powell out. I just want you to be super aware of what's going on. There is no, they don't fucking care about the building. This is a plan to get Jerome out, to hopefully force interest rates down, to hopefully try and spark some life back to this decaying economy. Speaking of the economy, in a very light summation, because I feel like I don't want to do another slowly all at once type video thing. I don't want to get too into it. I've made my point on it. I'll just keep updated. Man, auto delinquencies so much higher than they were when I made that video. Youth unemployment higher than I made that video. Buy now, pay later, unpaid, especially from young people, higher than what I made this video. Real estate in Florida and Texas collapsing. Sales are collapsing. Prices are falling at a steady clip now. People are on our real estate just begging to try to find a way to unload their home at not a loss. Like, the problems are becoming real. I understand that you can read a headline jobs number and go, unemployment's not really rising. But you have to understand, if you break into that jobs number, it is so clear what is going on. Private sector employment is in free fall. Everyone is doing layoffs. The only place hiring is government jobs, temporary work. People aren't filing for unemployment because they're going for Uber. But that is not, I'm just saying the data is actually so clear. The data is actually so clear that things are deteriorating. And to be honest, I think if most of you are participating in this economy at all, you can feel it. Nobody is noticing a wave of great jobs going around. Nobody is noticing that people's standards of living are rising. It is very clear what is happening. And the headline data has not caught up yet, but I think they are aware of it and are trying to get interest rates down to zero as fast as possible to try and stave off what will happen. My family started to budget a lot because of rising prices. Yeah, 100%. It's not the only one. Nobody is reporting. I mean, I got to say a few people on the top of the K-shaped economy. Maybe they are, but nobody else is reporting that things are just good right now. Things are feeling good. People are feeling easy and less financially stressed. It's not happening. People are reporting more and more. In fact, I think I have a great graph for you. I don't want to do a whole presentation here because I feel like I'll be a broken record. But I do have a graph that I would like to share. Dude, one of my viewers is the son of a major car company CEO. And he reached out and told me ahead of time they were doing 20% layoffs, which turned out to be true. Massive layoffs. And we were talking in this conversation about this gap between consumer confidence and employment rate that has appeared. Let's see. There it is. Okay, right. Sorry, I'm trying to get there. Here it is. Look at this graph. So for all of my lifetime, these two charts have basically tracked, which basically says this is like interviewing people on what their likelihood is of the difficulty of finding a job. Okay? And then the actual unemployment rate. This graph, I'm sorry, you can't really see it. Let me see it. Basically, for whatever reason, this gap has appeared recently. That the unemployment rate is shockingly low, despite everyone saying it's very hard to find a job. This gap is weird and non-standard. This implies that the unemployment rate is like 6 to 8%. Like way higher than what they're saying it is. And that is because of the gig economy. And that is what I'll tell you. What I'm trying to imply here is that it's because of gig work. People are not applying for unemployment at the level of they used to because they are going into they're going into Uber and they're going into, but it's not real. It's not like this is This is an economy that clearly is deteriorating in jobs and is not yet reflected in its headline number, 4.1%. And that's bad, dude. That's that, and they understand that. Even if they don't say it, they understand it, and that is why they want to get rates down. On some days they run out of unemployment. It's not even running out, dude. I'm sure some of you know people like this, but unemployment and the hassle it is to file and the small amount of benefits it gives is often not worth it when you can just get a gig job. Many people are choosing Uber or choosing Instacart or choosing gig work rather than trying to do all the hassle of applying for unemployment. It is not, it is often not worth it. They are just deciding it's not worth it. And that is leading to like a structurally lower unemployment rate than there should be. Does Amazon count as gig work? No, man, that's just backbreaking work, bro. It's kind of gig work, and then it's usually temporary. People quit Amazon as soon as they can. Statistically, if you get a job at an Amazon warehouse, you will quit as soon as possible, as soon as you find anything else. The turnover at Amazon warehouses is so high that they have almost gotten every possible person in America who would work there to work there. They've had millions of employees turn over. They are running out of people who haven't tried it already, who would do it. Where's Houdat? I mean, yeah, he's sticking it out. Well, Houdat told me he used to be a streamer, and compared to that, Amazon's easy. That's what Houdat told me. Like, after you've tried streaming, I could work Amazon warehouse shift. I could do triple back-to-back shifts. Like, the hardest job in the world is built an iron skin for him. So anyway, so that was what I want to cover on Jerome Powell. I just want you to understand, if you see any news about, Jerome Powell and the cost and the palace he's building, or if you see like this debate about interest rates, it sounds kind of boring. I just want you to understand like why it's happening, who the parties are and what they're doing. That's like a little update. The other thing I want to talk about is the Epstein outrage. Okay? Listen, we already did a video on the Epstein stuff, and I thought that was kind of it. But the truth is, the story of this Epstein stuff is that it's not going away at all. In fact, it is building. I want to show you two things that kind of shocked me. First of all, I mean, whenever you have something political that both Ludwig and Moist Critical have made videos on, you know it is universally agreed. Like, everyone agrees now that this is fucking bad. Everyone is on board that it is completely safe. Everyone is now fucking fully aligned that this shit is ridiculous, that Trump is hiding something, that he's on the Epstein files. Like, it is becoming night and day. It is no longer like a maybe. And so the entire, like, the holding the line support, especially among younger people, is broken. It's broken, dude. There is like no more Gen Z Republicans holding the line. They're gone. This is wiping them out. On the internet, the whole internet right-wing space is is like completely flipping on him. And I want to show you a specific video that shocked me. This thing, and then I also want to show you this. Bro, look at this. This is fucking Nick Fuentes. You couldn't find someone more right-wing online. Listen to what he says.
And now he says, if you're not on board with the Epstein cover-up, I don't want your support. You're a weakling. Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck. You are fat. You are a joke. You are stupid. You are not funny.
He called him not funny. He called Trump not funny. Bro, even I'll defend Trump on that. Dude, he's going at him so hard, Trump's funny, bro. He's a terrible president. But he makes me laugh.
You are not as smart as you think you are. You are, and honestly, and if you watched my show, I've been very critical. I've never been this far. This just goes to show this entire
Listen
thing
to
has
this.
been a scam. When we look back on the history of populism in America, we are going to look back on the MAGA movement as the biggest scam in American history. And the liberals were right. The MAGA supporters were had. They were. When we look back in history, we will see Trump as a scam artist who served.
Dude, I mean, this is unreal to come from him. It's unreal. This is like a heartbreaking, worst person you know made a great point. But like, I just want you guys to really understand that what is happening is actually pretty big. Like, there's a huge swath of support that is evaporating. It is evaporating kind of overnight. Now, in the past, things like this have sort of soft happened and he can win them back. I think it's much more difficult this time. I think this is a deeper disillusionment. None of these people aren't going to flip over and start voting for fucking Kamala Harris. There's still a huge swath of deeply angry young men, right, that are going to be a problem in politics. We got to figure out how to. But I'm just saying, in this short term, in terms of like Donald Trump's base, it is evaporating around this Epstein stuff. This has become like absolutely the straw that broke the camel's back.
as a vehicle for this rather than the other way around. We were not the vehicle for Trump. Trump was the vehicle for all of us.
So this is happening. And then I want to show you this, which I think really hammered it home for me. Listen, there's a lot of issues that Donald Trump is underwater on. And by that, I mean polling worse, like more negatively than positively. And as I've mentioned over and over, as shocking as you might find it, immigration is still the policy he polls the best on. On immigration, many of his supporters think, yeah, he's still doing the right thing. Everything else, they're mad at him. But what you have to understand is that as mad as they were on jobs in the economy, where he's like -14, on deportations, on immigration as a whole, they're happy. But on deportations, like the ICE stuff, they're pretty mad, -16. On trade and tariffs, -18. On inflation, -22. People are fucking pissed that Trump has not brought grocery prices down like he promised. But all of that combined is nowhere close to how negative he is on Jeffrey Epstein. This is the least popular position he's ever had, ever, in any of his 2 terms. He has never been more. He has like a 12% approval, 60% disapproval. It's a -42. I mean, this is truly his worst issue he's ever had. People are like it's like the first thing that everybody understands where he's lying. Everybody gets it. It's spicy enough. It's relevant enough. It's conspiratorial enough. It's interesting enough to talk about that it's just sticking and everyone knows it. And it is now bringing him down. And it couldn't really happen at a worse time. I mean, again, this is pre-midterms. Maybe they'll find a way to again, I will say this. I will say it's worth noting. News in America moves fucking fast. Things don't stick very long, which is why I'm surprised this has stunk for as long as this has been over like a week now. We've been discussing this. We talked about this longer than the assassination attempt. Things move fast. Things can move on, but I think this has some real legs in terms of disillusionment. And it's not just people that are being like, wow, I'm totally flipping on Trump. I hate him now. But instead of going from active defender of him to like, well, I like some of his policies. You know, people are starting to back off. People are not wearing as many Trump flags and hats, dude. Even in like heavy Trump areas. We are just seeing a retreat from this hardcore supporting of him that is going to just be disastrous for him politically after the midterms. So yeah, it's a big deal, bro. It's a big deal. I think we should watch CoffeeZilla's thing, see if he's got any new like crazy data on it. But I just wanted to tell you, like, from a political POV, this really is not just another story. This is the attempts to impeach Trump for like 4 years did less damage. Him getting the mugshot, all that stuff did way less damage than 1 week of this Epstein story. 1 week. has done more damage to his polling than any of the stuff they've tried to do. So I'll watch. Here's
Coming out today, the Wall Street Journal not only released an article, today they're getting sued as well for this article about Donald Trump's connection to Jeffrey Epstein. It's explosive. It's about a letter Trump sent to Epstein with supposedly a drawing of a naked woman by Trump, along with a little poem which talks about a wonderful secret that Jeffrey Epstein and Trump share. We'll go through all the evidence because there's a lot to this. You are very silly if you jump to conclusions on a story this big with this wide of implications. Let's set the stage because we're going to take our time going through this. The president's behavior during the run-up to this Epstein file leak has been absolutely strange.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because it's a lot of phony stuff. You know, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama.
Even his supporters are like, well, why is he acting this way? It's so weird. All of a sudden it goes from the files exist to they don't exist to they're a hoax actually, and there's a bunch of phony stuff in there. This article, if true...
I just feel like, man, Trump has lost a step. If he's really, he's a dumbass as a president, but he always had like these good political instincts. The idea that the story you're going to tell me is that Obama wrote the files is so fucking absurd. He's getting old, bro. You hate to see your goat get washed. It's like watching LeBron out there at 41 and people are blowing past him. Bro, what are you talking about? Obama wrote the files?
Explains a lot of the strange behavior. And we don't know if there's more that's going to come out, if this is all there is. But I'm going to go through the main allegation, and I will...
Okay, I want to talk about this letter. He'll probably show it, but I just want to tell you, high level, there's this letter that Wall Street Journal found. By the way, I do want to call out Wall Street Journal and many of these are news organizations in general who have decided now is the time to finally investigate Donald Trump's links to Jeffrey Epstein. 6 months into his second term, we're finally seeing deep dives into Trump's Epstein connections. That most of this stuff was fucking public, but it's not a story until anyway. Now everyone's diving in. Now there's a big fucking interest in it, so they're diving in and finding a lot of evidence. There was this letter they found. Now the letter is written kind of cryptically. It's like, "Hey Jeffrey, we share a fun secret that bonds us like brothers." It's some wild shit, and then it's got a little doodle. And the story from MAGA has been this letter is a complete fake. It's a complete fake. The signature was forged. This doesn't exist. I don't talk like that, and I don't do doodles. Now, people have already found maybe Obama. People already found that Donald Trump doodles a lot. He's got plenty of doodles, dude. It's pre-watch. It's in the video. Fuck me. All right, fine. We'll just watch the video then. We'll just watch the video.
Call it an allegation because Trump is definitely going to sue over this. He's already said as much. So here's basically the story. Supposedly, Ghislaine Maxwell collected letters from Trump and dozens of Epstein's associates for a 2003 birthday album. It was for his 50th birthday. Pages from the leather-bound album, assembled before Epstein was first arrested, are among the documents examined by the Department of Justice officials. So there are birthday letters to Epstein that supposedly have been seen by the DOJ. They have them in their files. And the one from Trump supposedly has a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. And the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist. The Wall Street Journal goes on to say it's not clear how the letter with Trump's signature was prepared. Inside the outline of the naked woman was a typewritten note styled as an imaginary conversation between Trump and Epstein. Voiceover: there's more to life than having everything. Donald: yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey: nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald: we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Yes, we do, come to think of it. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. And the final line is, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Obviously, that...
Okay, so just what I want to say about this is the claim. Well, he'll talk about the doodle stuff. The claim that he's never doodled is false, but everyone says he doesn't talk like that, and it's true. It is true that Donald Trump, that I know, does not talk like this. The one you see as president does not talk like this. However, a little bit of Occam's razor here. If Wall Street Journal or Obama was going to fake this old letter of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, they would just write like him. Why would they write in this fake fucking way to it's like so why would you make it up like this? This makes it more true. This is so weird and out of character that nobody would fake it like this, dude. It's just a fucking weird letter you wrote in the 80s.
Thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Obviously, that is an insane thing to write to what later would be found out to be one of the world's most prolific but there's also two lines in there which are horrendous. One, enigmas never age. That's just a strange line. It's a very incriminating sounding line. We don't know what it means exactly. And then also we see, may every day be another wonderful secret. Of course, this all written inside the outline of a naked woman kind of tells you what secret they may be talking about there. Now we're going to go over Trump's response, and then, of course, all the evidence, all the denials, what you may want to know before making up your mind. Like I said, this is not a story where you're going to want...
Yeah, this is from 2003, by the way. This letter is from 2003. Well before Epstein was known to be a pedophile. Well, he probably was known to be a pedophile, but well before he was convicted of it or caught.
On a snap to judgment. Even now, I think there's still a lot we need to see. But I want to go over Trump's response. He gave an interview with the Journal on Tuesday evening, and he denied writing the letter or drawing the picture. Quote, "This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story. I never wrote a picture in my life."
I never wrote a picture in my life is so funny. I guess he's technically correct. Because he's only drawn a picture. He's never written one. Actually, very, very wise there, Donnie.
I don't draw pictures of women, he said. It's not my language. It's not my words. He told the Journal he was preparing to file a lawsuit if it published the article. I'm going to sue the Wall Street Journal just like I sued everyone else. What do we make of this? Before we jump into the evidence, before we jump into all the reactions, both public and of the people involved, let's just talk about what this could mean. The denial puts Trump in a very particular position. Because if it later comes out and turns out to be true, it's worth saying the Wall Street Journal did not publish a photo of the letter, which everyone's been asking for. There are a lot of reasons not to publish it. Maybe your source didn't allow it, but that's a huge part that could come out that changes the whole landscape of this, right? If it comes out, it's very devastating because you wouldn't lie about something like this if you thought it was no big deal, right? The denial actually implies a lot of bad things about what the letter could mean. If you weren't worried about a story like this,
Dude, I'm just the idea that the Wall Street Journal would just one day be like, yeah, let's just make up a fake letter from 2003 where Donald Trump drew a fucking photo of a naked woman. Let's write some weird poetry he'd never write. It's so fucking... Of course he wrote it, dude. This scheme makes no sense. This scheme makes no sense.
Thought the letter was nothing, you wouldn't deny it. You would just give no comment. You certainly wouldn't give an interview. So now we're going to talk about the reactions of the people involved, because it's worth saying Trump is not the only letter mentioned in here. And I think that's really important because in a story like this, you want to look to what could be corroborating evidence. So Alan Dershowitz is cited in the piece having written a letter that included a mock-up of a Vanity Unfair magazine with mock headlines of who was Jack the Ripper? Was it Jeffrey Epstein? Allen, a former lawyer for Epstein, does not deny this. He says, it's been a long time, and I don't recall the content of what I may have written. Lex Wexner also supposedly had a letter in there. He declined to comment. Supposedly, his letter was, I wanted to get you what you want, so here it is. After the text was a line drawing of what appeared to be a woman's breast. And then we have a former assistant who was not cited, who sent Jeffrey a letter. Oh, Jeffrey of Jeffrey, everyone loves you. Fun in the sun, fun just for fun. Pretty innocuous. And then, of course, we have Donald Trump.
It's kind of sad, though. It's kind of sad. Like, even if you have nothing to do with any of, you're just assistant, you're just a working stiff. Why'd you write your boss a letter that says, Jeffrey, oh, Jeffrey, everyone loves you. Fun in the sun, fun just for fun. Epstein, you rock. You are the best. I feel like that would be an embarrassing thing before he's caught being a pedophile. This is an embarrassing letter, bro.
Fun just for fun. Pretty innocuous. And then, of course, we have Donald Trump, who denies, of course, the whole thing. So we have some non-denials, some people who just didn't respond, and then we have Trump. Trump's the only one who's firmly denying this letter so far, with him doubling down on Truth Social, saying, it's not my words, it's not the way I talk. Also, I don't draw pictures. I told Rupert Murdoch it was a scam and he shouldn't print this fake story, but he did, and now I'm going to sue him in his third-rate news.
So this is another big deal. This is another big fucking, I was going to get to this after, but he's in the video. Donald Trump turning on the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch specifically, who owns Fox News, is now going to splinter even that. If there's a major lawsuit between Trump and Murdoch, that isolates, again, part of this big machine that keeps Trump in power. That media machine constantly has talking points for every scandal that get disseminated to all the different hosts and part of the media empire that keep this thing going. So, you know, if he's losing the online right because of the conspiracy, and then if he's losing Rupert Murdoch because of the lawsuit, and if he's losing, all of this is like breaking down the support that has kept Donald Trump bulletproof. And again, I would find him to be in a really precarious position. He's not in as powerful or an untouchable position as he might think. This is really like eroding his base of support pretty quickly.
Paper. Now, a couple comments quick on that. One, the Wall Street Journal is not a third-rate newspaper. It's also not a super left-leaning newspaper. Not that that should matter in journalism, but I know people's media literacy, that stuff kind of tip off their signals. It's unlikely they're going to publish something they know they're going to get sued for unless they have something. And so here's where I want to talk about a little bit of the circumstantial stuff. So Trump obviously states, I don't draw pictures, but turns out that's kind of not true. So in a book called Never Give Up, Trump wrote, each year I donate an autographed doodle to the Doodle for Hunger auction at Tavern on the Green.
It's not even like that he's doodled sometimes. He's like a notorious doodler. He's a diddler and a doodler. It's a fucking problem.
Great event. And sure enough, publicly you can find several doodles that Donald Trump has done. Most of these are of skylines, architecture. None of these are of women. Still, it's strange to say I don't draw pictures when you very clearly draw pictures and they appear to be in thick marker, which is what you were accused of drawing them in. Now, none of that means anything, but it just reminds me a little bit of the Prince Andrew denial. I don't know if you guys remember the sweat denial. A big part of the interview with Prince Andrew was the denial that he couldn't have done anything bad because he couldn't sweat. So this supposedly falsified Virginia Giuffre's whole story.
I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat. Or I didn't sweat at the time.
So yeah, that was kind of this claim like, hey, this couldn't be true because I don't do X, but actually we see that Prince Andrew actually does sweat. And in the same way, it's...
I didn't know about this. He claimed he couldn't sweat at the time. Nice ad. Adding at the time, so if someone catches you sweating later on, you'd be like, well, it was different. It was back then I couldn't sweat, though. That's... fucking stupid. That's so fucking stupid. That photo of me sweating couldn't be me because I don't sweat.
Not perfect proof, but you really shouldn't say you don't draw pictures when being accused of drawing thick black marker pictures when you definitely draw pictures sometimes. I mean, it's just, and it's public. I mean, that's just kind of just an obvious devastating hole in your whole argument. Now, again, I've got to say, like, this is just the basics. We do not have the letter, okay? I'm relying on the Wall Street Journal's reporting on this, and we're corroborating with different pieces of public evidence. Ultimately, we need to see if this was actually in the Epstein files. But there are some other stuff, too, that we can look to corroborate this story. So we can look at the bookbinder. So, in the Wall Street Journal report, we see a very specific and interesting corroboration. It says the book was put together by the New York City bookbinder Herbert Weitz, according to people involved with the process. Weitz listed Epstein as a client on his website in 2003. So here we have a chance to corroborate externally. Of course, it's not a full corroboration, but we have a chance to look to see, was it actually on his website, right? So if we go to the archive, we see in 2003 at weitzcoleman.com, we see a client list.
Does anyone know what this app is that he's using? I like this. This would help me a lot, actually, when I'm putting together a presentation. I have to use Paint, and I have to use... What is this app? No, not Wayback Machine. Where all the different pieces of evidence are floating in a void. Miro? Miro drawboard, Miro whiteboard. Miro or Figma. Okay.
And we see Jeffrey Epstein is listed on it with a different spelling of Jeffrey, I should note. And this says people for whom we have bound up books and albums. This is another piece of circumstantial evidence that makes it hard to believe it's just fully made up. Now, you can believe something in the middle. You can believe that the letter exists and the Wall Street Journal saw it and somebody invented it, right? Like, there are a lot of options here, but the idea that, okay, the Wall Street Journal is just fully inventing this story. They're releasing something with literally no evidence. They're just fabricating it all, but citing all these different people, citing third-party stuff that you can fact-check publicly. That's a piece of evidence to think about. Now, we're going to talk about the public reactions to this. We have Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, saying the Wall Street Journal published a hatchet job with a fake birthday letter that's supposedly from 2003. This is like the Steele dossier that kickstarted the Russia hoax all over again. The Wall Street Journal refused to show us the letter and conceded they don't even have it in their possession when we asked them to verify the alleged document they're basing their entire fake story on. Then you have Dan Wolkin saying the amount of people who think publications, the scope of the Wall Street Journal, just put explosive stuff out about a public figure without well-established authentication procedures and running it through a team of lawyers know literally nothing about journalism. Charlie Kirk says this is not how Trump talks at all. I don't believe it, referring to the actual letter's contents. Specifically, people picked up on the idea that Trump says enigma in the writing of it. In fact, Trump writing at all, some people find that hard to believe. J.D. Vance says, forgive my language, but this story is complete and utter bull. The Wall Street Journal should be ashamed of publishing it. Where's the letter? Would you be shocked to learn they never showed it to us before publishing it? Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump? Of course, then you have a response to that where somebody says, Carson's an enigma to me. This is clearly debunking the idea that the word enigma is not in Trump's vocabulary.
Now, Carson's an enigma to me.
So that clearly debunks the idea that he couldn't have written this because enigma wasn't in his vocabulary. It actually is.
Dude, it's just the idea that somebody at the Wall Street Journal just sat down and made this up is 1 billion times more unlikely than they just have an actual letter from Trump, who was friends with Epstein in 2003, proven, has photos with him. Like, it is so much more likely that he wrote
So
this.
from where I'm sitting, the letter.
And what's crazy is he could have gone with the defense of like, yeah, okay, like what he used to be. Yeah, I knew him in Palm Beach. He was popular there. I didn't know all the dark side of him and whatever. That's his old defense. But the fact that he's not doing it for this implies the letter is actually really bad. Like, he could just say, yeah, the letter's real, but it was his birthday. I didn't know that he wasn't caught. But like, this is bad. Like, this is
odd. But it also is in line with some of these other letters from people like Lex Wexner. It's also in line with some of the doodles that Trump has publicly made. And it is also in line with Trump's recent odd behavior with the Epstein files, where he keeps setting up the idea that there's this big hoax coming, that there's phony stuff in there. And that actually is the most persuasive piece of evidence, Trump's own behavior in this weird meltdown more than anything which has convinced me, because on the one hand, there are some things which would tilt in the favor of it not being Trump, right? The very fact that it's a letter, the prose of the letter is a bit strange. And then you also have the fact that, okay, if the DOJ had this during the Biden years, why didn't it come out, right? So that's all pretty compelling until you once again just look at the way Trump has been behaving. I think it strongly suggests that Trump...
I will say, if Obama did plan this whole thing, masterful job. Because had this come out during the Biden years, they probably would have got away with saying fake news. But having it come out during Trump too makes it so much harder to deny. It is 9D chess to have it come out now. The timing of it now just makes it feel like there's nothing you can say. It's so, yeah.
Trump saw something in the Epstein files, was debriefed on something.
Obama doodled it in college. He's been on a mission. Bro, the long game of Obama is crazy. I wish Obama had used some of this insane saw level planning to like not bail out Wall Street after 2008. But at least he's using it for this Trump cause, which is also cool.
That he was worried about. Whether it was this letter or something else, I don't know. But clearly there's something in those files that he was concerned about being involved with. I think we need a full declassification of these files, except for the CSAM and victims. Now, to the declassifying comment, Donald Trump, based on this, has posted, based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I have asked AG Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam should end right now. And Pam Bondi has said, President Trump, we are ready to move on the court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcripts. I think...
Dude, this is such a small point, but I just hate that so much of our government is now communicating via fucking tweet and truth to each other. Trump publicly telling Pam Bondi on True Social, she publicly responding by quote tweeting, but on fucking Twitter. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
President Trump, we are ready to move on the court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcripts. I think that ultimately it needs to be everything or nothing. You can't give a little bit at this point. With the level of allegations being leveled against our president, that he would send pretty incriminating letters to the world's most notorious Now, again, before he was arrested the first time, right? But given the letter's contents, given that they're doing so much, they're going to be suing the Wall Street Journal over this, to deny it, I think if it turns out to be true, is devastating. I mean, totally devastating and horrific, and no one should defend it if it's true. And that's what we need to find out at this point. So I think the answer is clearly that, yes, I would love the Wall Street Journal to release this photo if they have it in their possession, if they can release it from their source. And I would love for the DOJ to declassify the actual relevant pieces of this whole thing, because the absolutely central piece of evidence in this whole story are these letters, which are in a leather-bound album and supposedly in the DOJ's possession. That's clearly not going to be a grand jury transcript. That's going to be one of the pieces of evidence they collected from Epstein or Maxwell. And so that is a different category altogether. So I think given that, it's hard to see this as anything other than a distraction from what...
Someone said, gotta be bad for Trump coin. That's your big worry? The United States is unraveling. Our president's almost certainly a pedophile. And you're worried about your investment into Trump coin? Buy the dip, bro. By the dip.
Is actually relevant here, which is, does this album exist? Yes or no? Show us the evidence, right? Show us the physical evidence. Instead, this is just going to get people riled up because it's an Epstein release, but it's guaranteed by definition not to have the evidence one way or another. A transcript is not going to have a piece of physical evidence. And we need to demand answers on that, because either it exists or it doesn't. And if it does exist, that's a huge problem. If it doesn't, for the Wall Street Journal, that's a huge problem. And I'm really not sure which we are going to get first. All I know is that if you are looking from the outside, I would highly recommend that you don't just dismiss things based on a quick, hot Twitter take. There's a lot to this story that is corroborating, and also we need more evidence on before we can really make up their mind. I see a lot of people have just already written it off as completely true or completely false.
Damn, that sweaty photo was so funny. All right. Thank you, CoffeeZilla, for that reporting. Yeah. Anyway, the point of this all is to just tell you that it is hyper damaging right now to Trump. If you were worried that it's like every other issue, or he's kind of bulletproof on, it's not. The data is fast and the furious. Dude, imagine the files come out and there's a guy with Trump's body and Jerome Powell's face is pasted on hastily. And Trump goes, see, it was Jerome Powell the whole time in the fucking Epstein files. We have to get rid of him. It's funny. It's kind of a self-owned by Trump too here. In only that, like, a few weeks ago, Elon Musk on a platform he owns tweeted out to like 500,000 likes, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files and that's why they're not being released. Like, major Trump supporter flips on him, calls him a pedophile, calls him out, and nothing happens. Like, everyone kind of moves on. Elon's fucking stupid. I'm on Trump's side. Like, it didn't even do anything. And then Trump started talking about it. Like, what actually made this bad is Trump nonstop talking about it, saying, like, Epstein. Why are we talking about Epstein? Like, he sounded so guilty. He sounded so obviously guilty and so obvious trying to throw like, he Streisand affected it so hard. If he had just shut his fucking mouth, people would have moved on. But everyone is realizing how obviously guilty he is because he keeps trying to say how not. It's crazy. Yeah, them trying to close the case. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Trying to stop the case, trying to bury it, is exactly what made it a big deal. And him saying, let's move on, nobody cares, is what made everyone realize how obviously they should care. Like the Coldplay couple, it is actually just like that. It's actually just like that Coldplay couple. It's actually just like that. It's Coldplay's fault. Hillary putting Bill's name in the Epstein files is like Bane leaving one of his guys in the planes as it crashes. I'm sorry. You think... I think there's a decent chance Bill Clinton could be in those files. But I think it's more likely it's because he was involved with Jeffrey Epstein and maybe he's a pedophile. I think it's much less likely that he's innocent, but Hillary Clinton wrote the files and threw her husband into the fucking bus because she wanted to fuck. Why the fuck is it more likely that Hillary put him in than he just was there? In that case, poor Bill Clinton, dude. He cheated with Monica Lewinsky and now his wife is cooking up the Epstein files to throw him under the bus as a pedophile. Because of her emails. That's what was in the emails, bro. That was in the Hillary emails. Fuck, of course. That makes so much fucking sense. Okay, I also want to talk about Lena Khan for a second. We covered some news. We covered Epstein. Let's talk about some good news for once. Okay? Let's talk about some good news. I got to interview Lena Khan, baby! That's the good news. The bad news is they fucking screwed me. Okay? Those, my co-hosts, Aiden and Doug, they screwed me. Look at this. I have Lena Khan tweeting out, thank you to the Lemonade Stand for the fun conversation. This is my dream. She followed me. She followed me on Twitter. And this is the photo that Aiden uses. This is the photo. But I want you to understand that we took a normal photo. And then we took a soy jacking photo as a backup. and they post the one where they are still smiling and I'm soy jacking. They post the one where I'm the only one soy jacking. What the fuck is this, Aiden? This is actual betrayal. Why is this the photo? Why am I the only one soy jacking? It's so embarrassing. That's so unfair, dude. There's a perfectly normal photo. And at least it would make sense if there's one where all three of us are soy jacking, but it's just me. It's so evil, dude. Aiden is so Obama pilled. He's the mastermind. He cooks this stuff up years in advance. He's getting me back for the Gavin Newsom thing. This is Aiden's revenge for Gavin Newsom. So now I have Lena Khan tweeting out a photo of me soy jacking like it's just the way I normally am. It would make so much more sense if they were doing it too. God, it's so embarrassing. Did they tell you to do that? They literally, we took a photo, a totally normal photo, and then they were like, all right, let's do a silly one. And then we're like, well, okay, we'll all do the YouTube point face. We didn't call it soy jacking in front of her. But then we all did it. We all were like, and they literally got a video still of just me doing it first while they're still, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That is so crazy to get the one in the middle. That is diabolical. That is diabolical, dude. It's the thumbnail of the video too. Oh, I know. I'm so aware. I'm so well aware. Anyway, so I got screwed. But, however, I'm still extremely happy because this is like, you guys know if you've watched my content for a while, this is like one of my dream guests. This is one of the dream people to interview. The way that some people talk about, like, I don't know, Bernie or AOC or Zoran. Now, like, for me, this is my politician that gives me hope. This is for the longest time, because I have never seen someone until Lena Khan in those years who, like, had policies that I deeply agreed with, understood the value of competition, had studied like Louis Brandeis, and like, I just like the way she sees the world is so aligned with me. And she was young and not corrupt and making actual big changes. And it was like, it's so rare. And the things she was doing, like one click to cancel and non-competes, are so slam dunk positive that I thought they could make people realize the value of antitrust, of the FTC, of things the government can do that are unequivocally good. I'll be honest, I'm a huge fan. So that leads me to my next point, which is that in this interview, I'm fangirling. I'll fully admit it. I was a little bit nervous. I think I hit my stride after about 5 minutes, but like, I never stopped smiling the whole interview. Like, I think my questions are gonna feel good about it, but like, I am obviously happy because it is a big deal. I'm like very excited. Yeah. I'm just fully admit it. I'm not gonna like pretend I wasn't. For me, it's probably the politician I am most excited about in the world. I think the most. I don't know. I hope she finds a way to get back into political office or power or something, because I really am impressed. Anyway, it was an awesome guest. I had an idea the morning of the interview. So worth saying, like, I flew out there. We all flew out the day before. There was this massive fucking storm in New York. Massive storm. So all the flights into New York are delayed. And so Aiden flies in first. He leaves earliest in the morning. He's delayed 2 hours. Finally gets there. He's texting us. He's like, dude, I'm stuck on the tarmac for hours. It's storming. It's raining. They can't deboard us. We're stuck. And I flew out later because I wanted to wake up later. So I'm like, haha, idiot. Should have taken the later flight, dumbass. And so I get on the plane in LA way later. And I fall asleep insta because I'm the go to falling asleep on planes. And when I wake up, I'm on the tarmac. And I'm like, oh, I'm here. That was fucking easy. Aiden sucks. And I look out the window and it's bone dry. And I'm like, dude, I'm texting Aiden like, you said there was a storm? Bro, I'm here. It's easy. And the captain's talking, Newark, whatever. And then I'm like, all right, let me figure out what my Uber is to get to the hotel. I check my map and it's like, huh, that's weird. I refresh it again. It says I'm in Virginia. Instead of Newark, New Jersey, I'm in Norfolk, Virginia. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Did I buy the wrong flight? But no, the captain has nonstop been talking, but I've been mishearing it. He's like, hey, yeah, we're landing in Norfolk because the storm is so bad we have to wait on the tarmac in a different city. So I actually had to wait 2 hours on the tarmac in the wrong city because they couldn't fly in. So I'm stuck on there. Well, Aiden's already there. And I just have to sit there, just sit on my ass. It's like hot in the plane. It's way there's no food. I'm fucking hungry. I'm waiting. Finally, we take off. We land in Newark, New Jersey, New York, basically. And then I have to wait 2 hours again. So by the time I get off the plane and I get to my hotel, it's 3:30 in the morning and our interview's at 9:30. So it's fucking, I'm tired, dude. Doug as well. Me and Doug arrive at the same time. So me and Doug get there at 3:30 a.m. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I got no sleep, and I have 6 hours until the interview with Lena Khan. So I pass out, and then I wake up. I'm nervous too. I'm excited for the interview, and I'm nervous. So I wake up early. So this is all like no sleep, by the way. It's not like no sleep. I wake up early. Did Lena have to fly in? No, she's based in the area. Where'd you film the episode? We bought a studio. We rented a studio in New York. Dude, it was crazy. As we show up to the studio, they're filming an episode of Monica Lewinsky's podcast. At this studio. Like, we're using it after Monica Lewinsky is filming her podcast. She had just done an episode with Miley Cyrus. I don't know who she was interviewing this time. Follow-up guest? Anyway. Did you meet her? No, we didn't say. She left a different way. But so we get there, and I have this idea. I'm like, dude, this would be really funny, but I don't know if her and her team will go for it. But I'm like, fuck it. We have an hour until the interview. So I leave the studio and I go to Target nearby and I buy a copy of Monopoly. And then I go and pitch it to their team where I'm like, hey, she always fights Monopolies. Would it be funny if we could film a YouTube short where we're all playing Monopoly and we ask her to play? So we filmed this. Wait. Cinema. Where's the? I want the full one. Discord. And to my crazy surprise, she goes for it and her team goes for it. Thank God. They're both like, yeah, that'd be funny. We're down. I thought for sure they're going to be like, that's the cringiest thing you've ever asked. And we're leaving and we're walking out. But they were down. Wait, I'm sorry. Where's this fucking... It was to Perry. I sent it. Perry? Yeah, here it is. Oh.
Dude.
A little trip to Boardwalk.
I can't pay this.
Well, you should have thought about that before you became poor, Aiden.
Lena, you want to play with us?
It's not really my thing.
Oscar-worthy acting! Brilliant! The scene direction, the casting. Lena Khan as person who doesn't want to play Monopoly. It was peak. It was peak. Dude, I got to film a fucking Monopoly TikTok with Lena Khan. It's awesome. And then, that was one small part of it. Because I also got one of my most prized possessions in the entire world. after we filmed that, she signed it. I have a signed Monopoly board by Lena Khan. And she told me she has never signed a Monopoly board in her life. This is a one of one. This is now part of my set. I have the sickest fucking set, dude. The Marketing Monday set now has a Lena Khan signed Monopoly board. That is so dope. Connor's charity auction. I'd rather blow my shit off smooth than give $1 to charity. Okay? This is my ultimate item. I'm not putting this at the auction, dude. I'm not putting this. This is priceless to me. Anyway, Lena Khan signed the Monopoly board, and then we do the interview. Again, I'm super stoked to have her there. We all prepped. Aiden, Doug, and I, we spent like an hour before just talking through a question. I think I feel very good about the questions we asked. You know, sometimes we talked over each other a little bit or whatever, but one thing I do want to say, big shout out to Aiden. If you watch the interview, you know, we're asking our questions and it's very like ask questions, she gives answers. And then like 3 minutes in or something, Aiden makes a dumb joke, just makes a joke, and she laughs, and then the ice is totally broken. You know? After he makes this, after he's like, I don't remember what he said. I don't even remember what it was, but he makes a dumb joke and she laughed about it and then boom. And it really like opens up the whole interview and I really respected it. And I just want to say shout out to Aiden. I was trying not to include him because Lena Khan specifically asked to not include Aiden, but it was great. Aiden saved, I mean, it was going to be good either way, but I think he saved the vibe. So big shout outs to him. And of course, Lena Khan had some great answers. And I just want to say something. If you're not going to watch the podcast, I fully understand. I want to give you a high level on like, you know, the reason I think Lena Khan and this style of thinking is so awesome, which is like, I just think there's so much evidence that competitive markets bring a huge benefit to regular people. However, her stance and mine is that you really need constant maintenance from smart, thoughtful people that understand these industries to keep the markets competitive. Like you can't just let it go wild. You know, you can't let them run amok because they will find their way around it. Yeah, just the way she approaches the idea of like making sure that those that have this massive lead can't ice out competitors and snowball that advantage to bully regular consumers and whatever competition they have is so important. It's so important. Like the idea of a quote unquote free market does not mean one that is not managed or like, it's like the idea, I think the best way I can explain it is kind of like how basketball or football work, where like on the court, it is like fierce competition. And then everything around that is designed to keep that competition fair. Things like draft picks, you know, for teams that have worse performances. Things like luxury tax. Things like the second apron. All that stuff is around the game to keep the competition fierce. To make it so that there's not one overall dynasty that just buys the refs or buys every top player and never loses. Like European soccer. It's this cage or this network around the competition. And I just find that Lena Khan is one of the few people who can articulately and passionately work towards that. And I think it does so much better than just putting all of the industry in the government's hands, and then also so much better than just completely unregulating it. I think it's like this whole idea that it's like a garden that you have to specifically manage to get the best outcome for people. That if you make the incentive that you have to make the better product to win, people will do that. But if you make the incentive that the best thing you have to do is just buy the politicians or do whatever, then the people will do that. So you have to regulate it. And I find that to be I don't know. Just I'm very passionate about it, and the way she studies history, the way she talks about America's best years for the middle class for growing industry are like the 40s to 70s, where we had strongly enforced antitrust. That the market system worked for people. It's not like we didn't have McDonald's. It's not like we didn't have GE or Ford or big industries, but they were incentivized to win through competition, not through anything else. And it's just awesome. So I hope she finds her way back into politics, and it was an honor to interview her. And then on a smaller level, I think one thing that makes it easier for some people to understand is on a smaller level, Lina Khan supported things like one-click cancel, which if you don't know, I'll just put it one-click cancel. The rule is so simple. It has to be as easy to cancel something as it is to sign up for it. That's it. That is a rule that everyone can get behind. It has to be as easy to cancel something as it was to sign up for it. All that is just a rule that makes the competition fair. Okay? That if you want to sign up for this gym or quit and go to this gym, you should be able to do it. It's a market where you can make your choices. It makes it so the way to have the best performing, most profitable gym is to make the best gym, not to make the one that has the hardest to cancel subscription. We're incentivizing the wrong thing. And so this being a big thing that she proponed, that she pushed for, and of course it's gotten blocked under this new FTC now that she's gone. But like, this is what politicians should work on. Things like this are simple ways to make people's lives better. One thing that did get through, that's talked about in the interview, is that Ticketmaster. The idea that you can no longer hide your fees. You know, that you can like advertise, hey, this ticket will cost $70, and you click it, and then it costs $140 because there's fees. You just can't do that anymore. They blocked it. And that is awesome because it lets you choose with full information. To make a market work, both parties have to have complete information. If you can hide it and trick people, then it's not really a free, it's not a free exchange. So these kind of rules are just incredible, and they help make this system fucking function. They make it work for average people instead of just the top. And so, yeah, I don't know there'll ever be a better guest for me particularly. We have some other really cool guests that are lined up. And in fact, people have reached out after that Lina Khan interview, and we're pretty excited. But for me, it's such a cool guest to get as our first one because I'm a big fan. I wanted to kind of explain why. Now, one more thing I will say. Just one downside. Lina Khan, halfway through the interview, called NVIDIA NVIDIA. I almost snapped. I didn't work at branding at NVIDIA for 4.5 fucking years for Lina Khan to mispronounce it. Okay, is she gonna get the brand color green wrong too? And what's crazy is she got it wrong, and then I didn't correct her, obviously, but I just said it the right way. I was like, yeah, I used to work there. I used to work at NVIDIA. And she goes, oh, cool. Anyway, NVIDIA. Fuck, dude. I got mogged. One of the most interesting parts of the interview is the discussion around RealPage and algorithmic pricing. She brought up something I hadn't heard about, which is basically that airlines like Delta are putting AI algorithms that are designed to track everything they can about you, cookies, browser history, whatever they can get, to charge you the maximum possible price that you'll pay. The example she uses, like if they figure out that you're headed to a funeral, for example, they might upcharge you because they know you have to get there at this time. It's crazy. But we've talked about something similar in the past, like the idea of Wendy's surge pricing. The idea of like, you want to charge someone the maximum amount they're willing to pay individually. So if this person is more in a rush, you charge them more. If this person It's not like one price for all. It's like based on how desperate you are, we can charge you more. And that shit's spooky. That shit's very spooky. How would you ever stop that? I mean, you could stop it very easily with a well-funded, well-supported FTC that makes, single customer pricing that has to be the same across all customers. You can't algorithmically choose a price. MFers don't think I'll straight up skip the funeral. Well, that was the joke we made on the pod, which is that like you're going to have to start sending emails to everyone saying, I don't even fucking care about that person. So the algorithm thinks you don't care so you can get a cheaper price to the funeral. You have to constantly be talking shit about your dead mom so that so that you can get the cheaper flight. DoorDash? I think DoorDash, I'm sorry, Uber Eats does this for me. Uber Eats like probably has me flagged as a streamer. I swear to God. I think Uber Eats has a flag that I'm a streamer on the back end and they know they can charge me anything. They have a special tag and they can charge me whatever the fuck. They'll put any number there and they know I'm going to click it. I'm ordering a burrito, $98. Fuck, all right. I swear to God, I'm a pay pig. I'm a fucking pay pig, dude. Because there's just no way. There's no way that their business can be functional at these prices. I obviously haven't spent $98 on a burrito, but let me just see. Again, I've very drastically cut back my Uber Eats because it was getting disgusting. In the past few months, I've probably done it fucking 4 or 5 times probably, but not that many. I've been very drastically cutting back. I bought a meal plan and this whole fucking thing because it was bad. But like, okay, let's say Chipotle burrito. Last time I ordered that, what did it cost me? Past orders. Last time I ordered Chipotle. No fucking way. No fucking way. I'm going to tell you what this is fucking absurd. This is fucking disgusting. All right. I ordered a burrito bowl for me, a burrito bowl for Ari, and a burrito bowl for our guest. 3 burrito bowls. And I added chips and guac. Chips and guac. What did this cost? 3 burrito bowls, chips and guac. $102. That is averaging to $33 a burrito. A burrito bowl. $102. That's disgusting. That's with tip, right? Okay, that's after tip, but still, that's disgusting. You paid that? I'm telling you the honest truth. They have me tagged as a pay pig. I hope you're ashamed. I am actually. Every time I see this, I'm ashamed. That's why I fucking stopped. It was a few months ago where I just was scrolling through the costs and I was like, dude, this is so basically what I told myself, this is how I trick myself. This is how I trick myself every time. I was like, if I took all this that I'm spending and put it into gold, it would be worth so much. And I was like, damn, I am right. And that's when I stopped doing it. I just started fucking saving the Uber Eats money and putting it into gold. That's the honest thing that tricked me. I just have to invest it. It's crazy to lose that much money on fucking food. It's just, I don't even care. I can eat I'm a fucking League of Legends player from ASU, dude. I could eat 1 box of Triscuits and that's my whole day. I could have 1 fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich and that's my whole day. I don't need any food. I don't want food, and I was just doing it because I wasn't looking at the number. Anyway, anything else I want to say about Lena Khan, other than that it was just a delight. I appreciate that she did that. It was really cool. The interview was everything we hoped. We were all really excited. I think we went out to dinner afterwards, and me, Aiden, and Doug were all cheesing. I think especially me and Aiden. Aiden told me before we started the show that was his dream, not to interview Lena Khan, but to get like a real political guest. I think Aiden's always wanted to have like a more serious discussion with somebody real. And he got to do that, and he was very happy. So, yeah, it was cool. It was just a good time. I really enjoyed it. It was, no chili stream? No chili stream, but I did do a IRL stream in New York. And I walked around New York and met some H-Rock stream snipers, actually. Everyone was really nice. And we're probably going to make a video out of it because it was a fun time. I did have dinner with Squeaks, too. We just didn't stream it. And it was actually really funny. So Squeaks was cracking me up, but then he saved none of that for the live stream. Did you meet his wife? Yeah, I met his wife and his 8 kids, 6 of which he never talks about. Is there anything else I want to say about Lena Khan stuff? No, I think that was it. It was fun. Check it out if you want to. I mean, I think the interview was really fun, and you're going to learn a lot about her thought process and the way she's thinking about the world, and some hopeful shit she said at the end, which is really cool. And okay, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, last thing, and then maybe we'll watch a Smallville Hill here in a second, because I am going to leave around 6:30 because I'm going to Riot Games headquarters tonight to get all of your shitty teammates banned. Okay, if you have a bad teammate in Valorant or League, I'm breaking in, and I am going to get Fizz buffed to the meta, and I am going to Riot Games headquarters for some card game stuff. Ooh, can't say anything else. So that'll be cool. That's cool. So I leave at 6:30. So let's move kind of fast here. I just want to talk real quick about the Crypto Genius Act. Okay? Here's the deal. And this one, I'm actually quite sure that people aren't getting the full story. I'm quite sure that there's stuff people need to understand about the Crypto Genius Act. And I was actually explaining. I wasn't explaining this. I was having a cool conversation about this with the. We went out to dinner with all the politics people, all the people that are like part of the help make the Lena Khan thing happen. They work in like different campaigns, and we were talking about this and like the behind the scenes stuff of it. And I want you guys to understand. So here's the deal. Can I get the Crypto Genius Act?
And now he says if you're not on board with the Epstein...
Shut up, Nick Fuentes. Okay? Shut up. Here it is. Okay. Okay.
It's a very important act, the Genius Act. They named it after me, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you. It's a very...
Donald Trump signed the Genius Act today, named after him, which is about cryptocurrency regulation in the United States. And essentially it promotes stable coins. It moves enforcement of crypto regulation away from the SEC to a more crypto-friendly organization. It's a very pro-crypto act, okay? And again, my understanding is that the SEC was pretty aggressive against crypto during the Biden years. There was a lot of SEC enforcement of crypto scams, all of that has sort of been abandoned. And now this truly makes crypto very hard to investigate. That's all fine and dandy. And again, a big part of this Genius Act existing is the simple math of hundreds of millions of dollars of donations from the crypto industry into politics, okay? A lot of this is just money into politics to get legislation that benefits crypto. If you are part of Coinbase, you are clapping your hands with joy at this regulation, okay? This is just like less crypto regulation, more money in crypto. That's part of it. But the deeper story here is about U.S. debt. And I want to explain something. So, in a country like Japan, right? In a country like Japan, they ran out of other people to buy their debt. Japan has a lot of debt, and they want interest rates to be artificially really low. They pay like 0.1% interest, you know? So nobody wants to buy that. Nobody in America wants to buy that. Nobody in China wants to buy that. Nobody wants to buy that. So what Japan does is they print their own money to buy it, and this is the money printer. They print their own money to buy it, and they force Japanese banks to use a certain percentage, like let's say 20% of their deposits, to also buy Japanese government treasuries. Okay? That's what Japan does. There's laws. If you have your money in the bank has to take 20% of that and they buy Japanese treasuries. Okay? That's the idea. The idea is like they have to funnel the savings of their countries into their debt to keep the country funded. It's the only way to keep this debt machine going for the country. Now, we don't have that law in America, but what's so interesting is that this stablecoin stuff is roundabout becoming that. So if you take your money and you put it into a stablecoin, here's the coin, a stablecoin. That stablecoin takes your dollars and they put it into U.S. treasuries, IOU. That is what they do. So but it's supposedly, Tether doesn't, but the new ones, the ones they're regulating with the Genius Act, they're doing that. So the stable coins are literally a way for crypto, instead of being like outside of the financial system, to become the only way to prop up the current financial system. Like right now, we are having crypto be a way for millions of dollars from banks all over to go into government IOUs. But what's so interesting is that if you are a regular person and you take your money and you put it in a stable coin and they put it in an IOU, you don't even get the interest payment. Like this pays 4.5% interest or more. This doesn't go to you. This just goes to the stablecoin guy. They get to keep that extra yield. You get nothing. So you could have just taken your money and bought an IOU directly and at least gotten interest, but you don't get anything. So honestly, what's actually happening, everyone in crypto is super excited about this, and it will be good for like Bitcoin prices to have all this stablecoin stuff in the banking industry. But what's actually happening is a massive grift of crypto users to fund the government. It is actually a way of turning all of this crypto enthusiasm and hype into a government funding ability to help bring the borrowing costs down on our IOUs. It's sneaky. And again, if you read into what Scott Besson has been saying, he is fully aware of this, and this is the plan. This is like their roundabout way of doing what Japan did to try and keep our debt Ponzi going. It's very interesting. It's like a securitization of treasury bonds in a way. Yes. In a way. I mean, it's taking advantage of the fact that there's passion and interest around crypto to get you to buy an IOU for cheaper, to fund your money into treasury IOUs. But it's just so funny because, in the early days of crypto, they would talk about it like it's going to break the financial system. It's going to be this whole different thing. We need to get out from the collapsing dollar. But in fact, They have fully and completely absorbed crypto into the system. It is now part of the system and is in fact being used to sustain the system. Crypto is now like a weapon to keep the US dollar alive and keep the government debt Ponzi alive. Which is just wild. What a wild end game. Why would you buy this over treasuries? You shouldn't. You absolutely shouldn't, but people want to because of crypto. That's it. It's just a fucking crypto thing. So I just wanted to explain that kind of simply, but it's under discussed how. Actually, what I'll end is by saying this is only step one. In all countries going through debt crises like this, so many rules will get changed. They're going to find more and more ways to try and keep the bubble going. And the way to do that is to find some way to turn your savings into government debt. They have to find a way to get you to buy government debt instead of buying stocks or real estate or whatever. Like the rules will change. There's going to be, maybe they'll start forcing pension funds to put a higher percentage of their money into government treasuries, or they'll start making banks do it, or they'll start, 401ks will have to buy a certain number of bonds. Whatever it is, they will find a way to get more money into government debt because it's the only way to keep funding our country. And that's that. I just wanted to explain it. Now let's watch Smallville. All right. I think I covered all the things I want to do today in a cool 2 hours. That was a productive stream. That was fun. And now I want to do Smallville, and then I have to go. What else did I want to do? Anything else? That was it. I think that's the main things. I think we hit our. How long has Japan been doing this? Oh, okay. Remind me tomorrow to talk about Japan. I want to do a Japan presentation, and I want to really get into it. Japan's cooked, bro. Low key, Japan's cooked. We'll talk about it tomorrow. All right, and then tomorrow after that, I think I'll play Get to Work DLC. Is tomorrow Saturday? Yeah, we'll do Get to Work tomorrow. Get to Work DLC, and then after I beat Get to Work, we're gonna have Isto come on stream and pitch our 2 ideas for the next game. But I have to beat the DLC first, and then we're gonna have, and you guys will vote on what we make. I'm not sure we're gonna go with your vote, but he's gonna pitch what the 2 ideas for the next game is, and you guys can vote, and we'll decide. Because we can't decide between the two.